Penguin Random House Audio presents Perfect is Boring and It Tastes Like Kale. Finding belonging and purpose without changing who you are. This is the author, Jess Johnston. Introduction. Confessions of a big, gigantic failure who learned to love herself as she is. I don't know about you, but being perfect never worked for me. Some people are probably cut out for it. Martha Stewart, maybe, Daniel Tiger's mom, the Queen, but not me. I'm naturally messy, naturally undetailed, naturally scattered, naturally feely. I was aiming to be the MVP of my household for a while. I was going to be so organized, so on top of it, so good at using the cute planner that I'd purchased. Then, my garbage cans got repossessed. I didn't know that was a thing, but it is. I forgot to pay that bill, and one morning I woke up and they'd taken them back. The county was like, "Take that, welcome to consequences. You no longer deserve a city trash can." I tried hard, but my flaws kept showing up anyway, like a stain on the carpet that keeps coming back every time it dries. Turns out, I'm better at just being me. A woman in her late 30s who has lost about 900 debit cards, gets grumpy with her kids and husband sometimes, hyperventilates when she laughs hard, loves ranch dressing, and only shaves her ankles in the wintertime. I'm a mess, but I'm me, and I like myself better this way. I can say that now. It was like I'd been wearing jeans that dug in and also made me feel angry. Then I realized I could buy new jeans, or better yet, leggings. The truth is, I don't think I ever really wanted to be perfect. Not really. I wanted to belong, and I was convinced to my core that the reason I was lonely was that I wasn't doing it right. I wasn't talking right, living right, eating and exercising right, and if I just did better, I wouldn't hurt so much. Can you relate? I've been writing for hundreds of thousands of women, plus about 10 dads, 5 grandpas, and the occasional internet creeper, for nearly a decade now, and this is what I've discovered. We are really, really hard on ourselves. We imagine there is a standard we must live up to. Said standard is also certifiably impossible. We also sort of know this, and it doesn't help. We believe that if we just did better, worked harder, were less messy, flawed, human, our life would be infinitely better, and we and everyone else would like us more, therefore giving us the belonging we want so desperately. We compare way the heck too much, and social media has not helped us in that area. We have things that we think are wrong with us specifically, and us only, or maybe like 1 or 2 other losers. We basically think we are 1 in a million, but in a bad way. We think this about big things. No one I know struggles to be patient with my kids like I do. And small things. No one's fridge crisper looks as disgusting as my fridge crisper. According to my research, there are a few things that make us feel better. Learning that someone else's crisper has rotting vegetables in it. Bonus points if you assume this person was more together than you. Learning that every single one of us has some version of the crisper. Maybe it isn't buying then avoiding produce specifically, but it's something. You guys, good news. First, I currently, like right now, have a rotting bag of sliced bell peppers in my crisper. I imagined I was going to make fajitas. I was a different person then, full of dreams and possibilities. I did not make fajitas. I would have, but I forgot I ever wanted to do that, and now, here we are. The peppers are soft enough to make me gag and never cook them, but they're not moldy enough for me to throw away without guilt. Naturally, I'll need to let them become 3 times as disgusting before I can part with them. Second, it's true. We all, every single last one of us, have our version of the crisper. What's your crisper? What's your version of, I struggle to be patient with my kids? Do you have a hard time making friends? You're introverted and you'd rather keep to yourself, so you do. Do you wrestle with anxiety or depression? Do you put yourself on the back burner, like the farthest back, nearly out of reach? You want to prioritize yourself, but you don't even know where to begin. Do you have shame around your marriage because it just hasn't turned out the way you expected and you're not sure how to fix it? Do you have something you're battling silently? Something you're scared to talk about because you're pretty sure no one would understand? We don't need to share our deepest secrets and fears with everyone, but we can intentionally look for other women who are safe and ready to handle them. We can present a more real, more authentic version of ourselves to the world. I've learned that when we share our less than put together selves with other women, we offer them keys to freedom, and we step into freedom ourselves. There is power in our corporate messiness, more power than we could have ever imagined. The answers we're looking for aren't in the CRISPR, and they're not in the next fad diet we're considering either. The answers lie in leaning into our flaws and our gifts. They're in inviting belonging through our own risk and vulnerability, in living with purpose in our own way, not our neighbor's way, not our friend's way, not our celebrity idol's way, and not even Fit Debbie 45 on Instagram's way. I made that up. Sorry if there really is a Fit Debbie 45. The answers are in us already. They're in wearing the shoes that fit and letting ourselves be ourselves and accepting that we're a lot of mess and a lot of great, too. My in-laws owned an old farmhouse just off the highway in Creston, Montana for over 30 years. My mother-in-law, Marie, made it beautiful all year round. She planted a Canadian maple that turned red in the fall, lilacs that bloomed in the spring, and flowers that exploded out of boxes and beds whenever the soil was thawed enough to plant in. The summertime brought nightly dinners at a long picnic table with linen tablecloths and pitchers of sweet tea. It was a landmark to everyone who drove by. A tire swing hung from one of the tallest branches of massive cottonwoods in the front yard, and vines clung to the lattice by the kitchen windows. In the winter, every ridge of the roof was lined with twinkle lights. When you walked up the front steps, you could smell Marie's fresh-baked chocolate mayonnaise cake. Candles were always lit, and carefully chosen antiques and textiles pulled you in with their warmth. It was beautiful, but not curated. There were half-finished projects in front of the shed and tools that got forgotten on the porch step. There was a pile of papers on the hutch and socks and laundry on the bottom of the stairs, which the kids always forgot to take up. It wasn't perfect, but that made it better. It was a scene you could place yourself in. Not like that house you visited as a kid that was beautiful in a magazine way, but your mom whisper commanded in your ear to please not touch anything, and for the love, use your napkin at dinner. It was home. Not just my in-laws' home, but home to every person who walked through the doors. It was the kind of home you could laugh in, be rowdy in, and make mistakes in. In the center of their kitchen was a long red table. It was worn with scratches, scuffs, and warped edges that paid homage to thousands of shared meals and lively conversations. Anyone who ever walked through those doors remembers that table. They might not remember what they ate or what they talked about, unless it was that mayonnaise cake, because it's life-changing. But they remember how they felt. They felt welcomed. They felt like they belonged. The proof covered the refrigerator. Family pictures and cards held by clunky magnets from people all over the world who had once shared a meal there. They all said the same thing. Thank you for treating us like family. And we want our house to be just like your house. My first time in their kitchen, I was 18 years old, and Graham and I were still hanging out as friends. There were always extras at their house. Someone who needed a place to stay for a while, friends who had become family, someone from church who just happened to drop by at dinner time. Place settings were pushed closer and closer together, and extra chairs were brought from the basement. Someone wheeled in an office chair, and I squeezed onto a bench between Graham and one of his sisters, trying not to bump anyone with my elbows. The room was alive and vibrant as everyone shared stories, laughed, and shouted to please pass the bread. Marie glowed with joy and laughed louder than anyone as she put
Sample complete. Ready to continue?